Good afternoon, students. I'm Harshada More. Welcome you all in the video lecture of Subject Labor Legislation Unit 5, that is which is all about participative management, collective bargaining, and ILO, that is International Labor Organization. So far we have this unit we have already started in offline lecture. So far we have discussed about what is the meaning of participative management. We have discussed objectives, we have discussed levels, we have discussed importance and limitations of participative management. In today's class, I am going to start with this particular collective bargaining. First, I'll just read out the definition and then I'll start with the own meaning of this particular collective bargaining. According to Del Cutler, collective bargaining is essentially a process in which employees act as a group in seeking to shape conditions, relationship in their employment. This was a theoretical definition for this particular word, but in general, day to day life also we went to a market, we purchase vegetables, fruits, and we even do the bargaining, we do negotiations of the price. Similarly, we required certain negotiations, certain bargaining when it comes to some work related environment issues. So we need to resolve those issues as soon as possible for the betterment of the workers. So there should be a win-win situation for both the people, that is employee as well as employer. It should be justice with both the people. Both should have to adjust in this particular situation. So this represents a democratic decision making, which is for the people, of the people, and by the people. So next is, what are the different features of collective bargaining. First is collective. As I have told you that this is a collective decision making where it should be a win-win situation for both the parties, including in the any conflict or any issue. So both the parties should cooperate, both the parties should get adjust with this particular situation. So it is called as a collective. Flexible is because both the parties, that is employer plus employee, both has to make some changes. They must able to adopt certain changes so that they can reach to a outcome where both are adjusting towards a particular situation. Voluntary. So collective bargaining can be voluntary, as it has to be it requires voluntary participation of the employee and the employers of the organization. Continuous, because as the disputes arises in the organization continuously, it is not like that it arises now and it will not be arising in a future. So it means it is a continuous, the disputes, the conflicts, misunderstandings are the part of the business. They are gonna come in a work environment. So to resolve this particular situation, it will be a continuous process because disputes are continuous. So to solve those disputes, the collective bargaining is also a continuous process. Dynamic changes, disputes changes and the situations are different. So to handle every situation, we are required different types of negotiating, depends on the situation. It is not like that today I have used one strategy, so tomorrow I have to use the same one. No, because situations are different. Different situation leads to different collective bargaining, different negotiations. Next is bipartite process. Bipartite is, it is a two-way. Bipartite is two-way process, because it's not like that always the employees should be get dominated by the employers. No, both should have a equal contribution for their work, and both should have that will to be participate in the activities of the organization and needs to adjust according to the situation. Rule making. Collective bargaining has some rules, regulations, so that the organization will be following a certain pattern while solving a questions. Next is protect interest. So collective bargaining is focusing on the interest of the employees as well as the employers of the organization. Next is, what are the different importance of collective bargaining. It can be in the form of for society, for employees, and for employers. We'll deal with this one by one. So the first one in this will come as, first one is for society. how collective bargaining is helping to the society. It helps to create a structure of industrial laws and regulations. It helps to establish the industrial peace in the country. It also gives different procedures to regulate the employment conditions of the employees. So this is what all about for society. Next is for employees, how it is helping to employees. So when it comes to importance of collective bargaining to employees, it will come as because as the bargaining capacity of the group increases, it makes the workers more powerful. The employees become more efficient and have a greater enthusiasm towards their work, and the trade union movement becomes stronger with increasing support of the employees. So that these are the different importance of collective bargaining to employees. So in this way, this is helping to employees. Next is how it is helping employers. Okay, so it becomes very easier to communicate with the organizations and help to connect to the top level as well as bottom, middle, all the levels, and that is the management and the all the level workers. We can easily we are able we can easily communicate with any person who is at top, bottom, or middle level. So this is what the different importance of collective bargaining. Next is what are the different principles of collective bargaining. First one is for union and management. What are the different principles? So the first one is for management and union. The management and the trade union must look upon the collective bargaining as it means of finding the best possible solutions and not as a means of acquiring the much as one can file conceding the minimum. So there must be a honest attempt at solving any problem rather than a compromise. So secondly, both the parties to the dispute should command the respect of each other and should have enough bargaining power to enforce the terms of the agreement, and that may be arrived at during the disputes. So third one is there must be mutual confidence and a good faith and a desire to make collective bargaining effective in practice. Fourth one, there should be an honest and responsible leadership to make collective bargaining effective and meaningful. And the last one is the two parties should meticulously observe and abide by all the entire national and the state laws which are applicable to the collective bargaining. Second one is what are the different principles which are available for the management. The management must develop and consistently follow a realistic labor policy which should be accepted and carried out by all its representatives. So secondly, in order to ensure that the trade union feels that its position in the organization or the factory is secure, the management must grant recognition to it without any reservation and accept it as a constructive force in organization and the industry. So last one is for trade unions. So in a view of right granted to organized labor, it is essential that the trade union should eliminate racketeering and other undemocratic practices within their own organization. Trade union leaders should appreciate the economic implications of the collective bargaining, for their demands are generally made from the income and the resource of the organization in which their members are employed. Trade unions should resort to strike only when all the methods of the settlement of the disputes have failed to bring about the satisfactory result. So this is what we have discussed in today's class. We have discussed what is the meaning of collective bargaining, definition of collective bargaining. Then we have discussed what are the different features of collective bargaining. Then we have discussed what are the importance of collective bargaining to the different three levels. And lastly, we have discussed different principles of collective bargaining which are available to three levels. So that's all for today's class. Remaining aspects I'll be continuing in the next class. Thank you.